Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is Nolan, or the Optimistic Gamer here, and welcome back to another video tutorial. Today, you are probably wondering why I am holding an enchanted stick in my hand. Well, let me tell you, this is called a debug stick, and it allows us to do some awesome mechanic adjustments in this game. So to start, the very first thing you want to do is /give @p debug stick. Alternatively, if you have a certain setting set in your world, you will have access to it in your creative menu. As you can see, I do not have that setting enabled, so I am unable to access it from here, but as long as you have access to cheats, you can easily get the debug stick. And what does this magical stick allow us to do? Well, I will show you using a couple different examples. Let me go ahead and prepare a couple of items here for you. And as you can see, we are dealing with a bunch of just random non-full blocks, and that is the key to this episode. So the debug stick will allow us to change a property of a block. Now this will be important for some of my vehicle tutorials later on, because I will start implementing this feature. I will still have alternate builds in case you do not have access to this, but I would like to at least take some of our vehicles to the next level. So that is why we have the debug stick. So by left-clicking your rec block keybind, you can cycle through, and you will see at the bottom of my screen there's a bunch of different options that I can select. We have waterlogged, we have the direction that the item is facing, what half it's on, in the case of a trapdoor, whether it's open or closed, and what happens when we hit our place block. So if I cycle through here again to open and I right click, as you can see, it changes to a closed trapdoor. Now if I were to try to close this without any power, it simply wouldn't work. But by using the debug stick, I am able to alternate that block's property without having to have redstone. You can do a bunch of different things with different items, and by cycling through, you can see all of the different, so here we have hinge. Now if the block can be interacted with, in this case, yes, the door can be interacted with. When we try to right click it, it's not going to do anything, so if you hold shift and right click, you can see the hinge moves, but it only moves for this half. That's the awesome thing about doors. They are completely separate from each other, which also allows us to do this. If we hold shift, oops, hang on, bad example. My apologies. There's a certain adjustment. So if it's open, so we're going to go ahead and click through here and go ahead and change the hinges to the other side, and then, we have to right click it. And then if we open, hang on, okay, we have to change the half. Okay, that should do it. Maybe? Stand by. Well, I played around with it. Somehow I was able to get it over here because this is working just fine. I don't know what I did, but that is a single door. I will figure that out and get back to you guys. I'll post a short on my channel at some point. But we won't be using that in any of our vehicles anyway, so it's not a big deal. One thing to know, though, is if you adjust a block, for example, we can open this barrel. As soon as I update this block, for example, interacting with it, it will then close. So the trick to the debug stick is to do all of your adjustments at the end of your build. Because what happens is if you have a connected fence here, and then you cycle through and you make it so it's not selected, and for fence you can tell whether it's connected or not based on whether it says false next to the direction. So in this case, that way we don't have to look at the F3 menu. When we cycle through here, you can see it says west is true. All the other directions are false, so if we set south to true, you can see, so I would assume this direction is south. Yes, it is. So that's how you know whether it's connecting or not. But if we were to update this block by placing another block here, it will leave that, but it's going to connect this. Even if we were to already have it so it's not connected, say this stair right here, once we place a stair back, it's going to reconnect. So then you'll have to cycle through again and set that to false once more. So that's why you want to do those adjustments last. The same thing goes with walls, iron bars, glass panes, all of that stuff. And here's another just fun example for you. The campfire, you can change it to waterlogged. That's the thing, most of these blocks you can set to waterlogged, which means when you right-click them, when it's set to that, it will put water there, and you can also take it away and the water won't flow. It's really convenient. So if we set that to true, you can see there's water. Right-click to change it back to false. And then we will just keep tapping to cycle through here. We can change it from lit to unlit and light the fire once again. And we can even make it a signal fire, which is the equivalent of putting a hay bale under this fire to make the smoke plume go really high into the air. And that is the debug stick in essence. What I would recommend doing is go through the inventory, especially the functional blocks. Most of these will have the ability to be used by the debug stick in some way, same with a lot of the plans. Again, it's most of the non-full blocks, but even some of the full blocks still have capabilities. Grass, for example, you can change it to snowy, although I'm not really sure why it looks like this. That is beyond me. I haven't been able to figure that one out yet, but again, if we update the block, it'll go away. But that is the debug stick. Oh, I almost forgot to show you stairs, because this is the important part that we will be using in the double-decker bus, which is this design right over here. I played around with a lot of designs, and now I'm finally finalizing one over here. It's still in the planning process, but I'm finishing that up. So that was going to be today, but then I realized, well, I could make it a whole lot better with the debug stick. So that is why I decided to do this. So stairs have a lot of different abilities. You can see the shape, waterlogged, which way it's facing, or whether it's top and bottom. So the shape, you can do different corners, super convenient, especially when you want to have, say, a stair facing this, hang on, facing this way, and you want to have stairs right next to it, but you don't want them to connect. We will be using this design a little bit for seats on the bus, so that's going to work out really nicely for us. And I was also able to do corner stairs right here so that we can have just a quarter of the block taken out, or I guess in this instance 1/8, and give us a little more finer detail. It's almost like having chisel and world edit and a bunch of other capabilities all in one magical enchanted stick. But that is the debug stick, like I've said multiple times, and that is what we will be using to, believe it or not, take our vehicles to an even higher level. So that is all I have for you guys today. Comment, like, subscribe, remember to stay optimistic, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye.